belt that you can use. That's actually a really good tool. But the thing that we are all going to need today is a wall. So we're doing a wall class today, everybody. I love wall classes. So what you're going to need to do is bring the short edge of your mat up against a wall. So you might have to shift some things around and move from where your regular yoga space is for today. If it's not possible, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can always just do the class on your mat, totally fine. But if you do have the wall today, then that's going to work as a really awesome tool or prop. Wall class. So let's give it another minute or so. I feel like it needs to be a bit louder. I'm going to go over here for a sec. And I think that that's okay in terms of what you guys can see. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if the music needs to be adjusted at all. We'll get started just in a moment. So if you're just tuning in now, we are doing a wall class today. So what you're going to need to do is attach the short edge of your mat all the way up to the wall. I've got no space there between my mat and the wall. Not the end of the world if you don't have a wall that you can work on, that's totally fine. But if you do, then it's going to be really great. We're going to be focusing a lot on the lower body today. All right, let's see how everybody's doing. Is the music okay? Can you guys hear all right? Okay, I think that everything's good. If anything is, if you can't hear me or anything needs to be adjusted, I don't have the camera too far away from me, so if you comment something, I should be able to see. Oh, good, thumbs up, thanks, Reese. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get started. So welcome everyone again. If you are just signing in now, we are doing a wall class today. And so using the wall is a really great way that we can connect to our body in a different way, right? Oftentimes when we're doing our yoga practice, we're in the center of the room and we don't have the ability to, press our hands or feet against anything. So we're going to be using that today. If you have blocks, you can use them, totally optional, but I find that having a little height can be useful. If you don't have blocks, you could even use a chair. If your hamstrings are super, super tight, you might need to use a chair today. If you've got a belt or a strap or something that you can use, that's going to be nice as well. And yeah, we're going to make our way down to our backs, and we're going to make our way down to our backs with our feet facing the wall. And if you've got some props, just keep those handy. So welcome. You can come on down to your back, everybody. And I'm going to start by coming down without touching the wall. So as we settle down here, it might feel comfortable just to have the knees bent. Maybe bring those arms out to the sides and just really allowing yourself to sink down and ground down into the mat, into the floor or the carpet or whatever surface you're on right now. Notice if you're holding any tension in your fingers or toes. Allow the back of the neck to be nice and long. Unclench your jaw. Relax your forehead. If you've got glasses on, you might even want to take those off just so that you can let the face just relax there. And if you want to take a big stretch, you can do that. And we're going to exhale to let that all go. Good. So we're going to start by, we're starting gentle, then we're going to be making things more active. So to begin here, we're going to just bring that right knee in towards the chest. Now I'm not touching the wall just yet. I'm just keeping my feet nice and soft and relaxed, just like the neck and the shoulders. All right, going through that little, going through the body and checking in with what you're able to readjust or soften. nice and slow and easy in your breath. And if you like, you can take this opportunity to set an intention for your practice this morning. And if you want to step it down a notch, you can always plant your foot on the ground. You can decide how close or far that is. And then just bringing a little bit of movement into that hip. So with one or both hands, I usually kind of like to just go with one. Here we're just going to bring some nice little circling. Again, your other leg can be straight or bent. It's easy movement. Feeling that femur bone moving in the hip socket. And let's go ahead and reverse. You can also hold behind the knee if that's better for you. Just building some fluidity here. Good, and then we'll plant that foot down to the ground. Stay nice and grounded and square in the hips. So navel's pointing straight up to the ceiling. You can even rest the hands to the belly if you like. And just a couple times we'll open and close that right leg. Rolling to the pinky toe edge of the foot and coming back. Roll it open and coming back. You can get a little bit of core activation here. Let's inhale to open. Exhale to squeeze the belly as you bring that in. Two more. Inhale to open. Exhale to bring it in. Last one here. We inhale to open. Let's just pause here. Again, I'm not twisting into the hips or the pelvis, really grounding that left hip point down. Navel keeps pointing straight up to the ceiling. And you don't have to have your foot up against the left leg. It can be as far out to the side as it feels comfortable for you. Good, let's exhale to just send that right leg out straight. Just shake the feet out a little bit to bring some movement. And then just noticing if it feels different at all from side to side. We'll take a nice full deep breath in. And then coming into the other side, exhaling to hug that left knee in towards the chest. Just let the feet and the toes be nice and floppy and relaxed here. Sometimes it feels nice to bring a bit of gentle movement side to side. Saying good morning to the body. Here we are today. Again, the foot can be planted on the ground. Relaxing the eyes and the forehead, nice soft gaze. Or you can even close your eyes here. Maybe take a moment to rest the hand on the heart. And just tuning into where you're at this morning. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Just a little moment of honesty with yourself. Checking in with what's happening in the now. And then start to bring in that circling into that knee. And just like our practice is changing all the time, day to day, and sometimes moment to moment, same thing inside as well, right? How we feel, how we think, energetically, we're shifting. Go ahead and reverse. So if you're feeling today different than how you did yesterday, that's okay. Good, and let's go ahead and float that left foot down to the ground. You can lengthen out the right leg if you like. Again, squaring off into the hips. We'll roll to the pinky toe edge of that left foot. And exhale, a little core activation to bring that on back. Inhale to open, grounding that right hip point down. Exhale to bring it back. 3 more here. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Next time we inhale, open, we'll pause here. Don't worry about how high or low that left knee is. Focus instead on squaring off across the hips. Navel keeps pointing straight up to the ceiling. Soft breath. And on your next exhale, slide that left leg out straight. Shake out the feet. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Take a nice big stretch. Any kind of stretch that feels good for you. Good. Now we're gonna bend the knees, roll over to one side, press yourself up to seated, and we're gonna come on up to our kneeling tabletop position. So stacking the shoulders right over top of the wrists, and we'll stack the hips right over top of the knees. Again, I'm not too close to the wall here. We'll just move in through some cat-cow. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, look back at those thighs, puff up the upper shoulder blades. Inhale into arch, melting the chest down towards the ground, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. 3 more here, moving with your own breath and timing, exhaling to round, and inhaling to arch. Notice if the shoulders are shrugging up towards those ears. Keep those shoulders down, the neck is long, as we're moving through the full movement of the spine. Right underneath the skull, right through to the tailbone. And let's go for 1 more here. And then coming back through center. Good. Get a little bit of a rock side to side. It might even feel nice to bring the knees a little bit wider. And then we're going to think of circling, not just through the hips, but through the whole body. So you can lean over to one side, shift the weight back, lean to the other side, and shift forward a little bit. Spread the fingertips wide, press the palms nice and strong down into the mat. You might feel this really strengthening into the hands and the wrists. Let's go for 2 more in this direction. And so really pressing down into the knuckle joint of the first finger. Pressing down right here, try not to roll that open. Let's reverse. Press down into that first knuckle joint of the first finger. One more. Good. And then coming back through center, we'll bring those toes together as we sink the hips heavy towards the heels and sinking into your child's pose. Any version that feels right for you. If that doesn't feel right for you, you can just remain seated, kneeling or cross-legged or any other seated position, even on a chair, and maybe reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Let's get a little bit of lateral movement here. So we'll walk our hands over towards one side. Keep the ears between the arms if you can. And then slowly coming back through center and over to the other side. Sink those hips down. Relax the shoulders. And then slowly coming back through center and lifting yourself up. Good. So from here, we're going to take our tabletop and we're going to start to move back so that we can bring the right leg up against the wall. So if you press back and you can't get a straight leg, then go a little bit further. We want to make sure that we're able to stack that left knee directly underneath the left hip. And I'm bringing the ball of the foot straight down to the floor and my heel to the wall. Walk those hands back so that they're underneath the shoulders, and then just a very slight puff out between those shoulder blades so that we're not collapsing down here, but we're just puffing up just a little bit. And hold. Start to draw that belly in and up. Lift the front of the throat. Firming up that right thigh. Get a little engagement into that right glute. And we're just staying here. Notice if you're twisting the hips, just drop that right hip point down. 2 more breaths, everybody. Good, and then slowly coming back through center, and then we'll do the other side. A little bit easier because we're already at the right distance. And again, we're going to stack that right hip directly over top of the right knee. Firm up the left thigh. Bring the ball of the foot down to the ground. and the heel right up against the wall. Walk those hands under the shoulders, spread the fingertips wide, puff out between the shoulders a little bit, drop your left hip point. Firming up the belly, firm up the thigh, lift the front of the throat, and hold. So even though we're holding in visual stillness, we're constantly reactivating these things, refiring up, shifting a little bit. One more full deep breath here. And then slowly release that down. Good. So from here, we're gonna sit down and we'll bring ourselves back down to our backs. You're gonna want your strap here. If you've got one, if you don't, it's okay. And this time as we come down, we're going to straighten the legs and have the legs press really, or the feet rather, press really strong to the wall. So figure out the distance that you need to be. And then just with the eyes closed, see if you can get an idea of the body awareness of if the toes are reaching straight up to the ceiling. Are your legs in line with the hip points? And then just gently support your head, bring the chin to the chest, and check it out for yourself. You might be surprised, right? The toes might be out, they might be off a little bit to one side, so we want those toes reaching straight up. Imagine like you're actually standing on the floor with your feet. Good. Really strong here, firming up those thighs a little bit. Draw the belly in. You can bring the palms down to the ground. If you like, you can turn your palms towards the thighs. So here we are in a Supta Tadasana, Supine mountain pose. You can also choose to roll your palms up to the ceiling. Keep nice and strong in those feet. Feel the feet, feel the toes. Pressing really strong into the wall. And now we're going back to hugging that right knee, and just like we did in our first warm-up, but now it's going to be active. So we're gonna bring that right knee in towards the chest. Now, as you do that, you may have moved away from the wall a little bit, so just scoot a little bit closer towards the wall. You can hold to the front of the shin or back of the knee. And now we're flexing through both feet. Right? Left leg still is active, left foot presses to the wall, and we're also reaching those right toes up to the ceiling. Relaxing through the neck and the shoulders. Stay here, we're gonna keep holding with our right hand, and the next time you're ready to inhale, reach your left arm back behind you, reaching towards the top of your mat. Spread the fingertips wide. The palm is facing towards the center of the body. No floppy arm here, lengthen through that elbow. And then the next time you're ready to exhale, keep this left arm where it is. Press the right leg back into the wall. Inhale to reach your right arm back. Notice if you feel a difference at all from right to left side. It's okay if you do or you don't, we're just checking in with what's happening in the body here. One more full deep breath in. And then as you exhale, right foot presses to the wall, hug that left knee into the chest, flex through that left foot. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Full, slow, deep breaths here. And breathe. Everything else stays the same. The only thing we're going to do is inhale to reach that left arm overhead. Maybe the bicep is able to come alongside the ear. Maybe it's a little higher up, but be wherever you need to be that you can keep that arm strong and straight. Keep that right thigh firmed up. Keep flexing through both feet. Tighten up the belly. One more deep breath. And then as you exhale, keep this right arm where it is. Press your left foot to the wall. Inhale to reach your left arm back. Imagine you're standing on the floor with your feet. From here, we're going to interlace through the fingers and then flip the hands so that you're pressing those palms back. So if you could imagine you're standing on the floor with your feet, you're pressing your palms up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your spine. One more full deep breath. And then as you exhale, we'll just let go of those hands, gently sweep the hands back down towards the hips, coming back to Supta Tadasana, any version that works for you. Good. Okay, we're gonna keep working the activity of the legs, and now we're bringing the strap into it. So we're getting deeper into the hamstring now. I'm gonna keep my feet how they are. If you don't have a strap, you're just going to hold behind the back of the thigh or the calf. Otherwise, take that strap or belt, and we're bringing it to the ball of the right foot. So bringing that strap right up towards the toes. Now firm up that left leg, press your left foot strong to the wall. Remember, if you moved away from the wall a little bit, just scoot a bit closer in. And then you might start with a nice bend into the knee, as it's like you're trying to slide your toes along the ceiling towards the wall behind you. Relax the neck and the shoulders. Full, slow, deep breaths. Back of the neck is long. And then we're going to start to bring in some nice circling here again. Using the strap to move the foot. Hands move the strap, strap moves the foot. Good, and then go ahead and reverse. And then coming back through center. From here, maybe now lengthening out a little bit more behind that knee, not forcing anything. Stay with your breath. Draw those toes back towards the face. One more breath. We're just going to let go of our strap if you've got one. Don't worry about it, it's just going to fall down naturally. Slowly start to float that right leg all the way down towards the wall. And then notice how it feels, if it's any different from the right to the left side. Good, and then we'll change to the other side so you can remove that strap, planting that right foot strong to the wall. Bring the strap to the ball of the left foot, right close to those toes. Setting that leg up towards the ceiling, firming up that right thigh. Start with a nice bend into that left knee just to ease into this. Back of the neck is long. Belly is soft. 2 more breaths here. Bring in that circling. So my leg is really passive. We're using the hands to move the strap, and the strap moves the foot. If you don't have a strap, you're just doing this movement behind the thigh. And then go ahead and reverse. Coming back through center, and see if maybe you can bring a little more length behind that knee. Draw those toes back towards the face. Keep firming up your right thigh. Keep pressing your right foot strong to the wall. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. And we'll take one more full deep breath here. And then once again, releasing the hold of that strap, slowly float the leg down, allow the strap just to fall naturally. Good. We'll keep those feet pressing strong, move that strap aside. As you inhale, reach both arms overhead, turn the palms towards each other, and now bringing all the fingers together, bring the thumb together, feel the length in the back of your neck, draw the belly in, firm up the thighs. One more, full deep breath. Good, bring your hands through heart center. We're gonna bend those knees, plant the feet on the mat, roll yourself over to one side, and then press yourself up to seated once more. So we're returning back to a kneeling position. This time we're going to turn to face sideways, coming into gateway pose, which is one of my favorites. It's really nice. So if you've got something to support your knee, you can use that. You can also just fold up your mat if you need to. And again, we're using our wall as a prop today. So I'm starting with my right knee down on the floor, and I'm pressing the pinky toe edge of my left foot all the way to the wall. Right? So I'm really focusing on curving that in like a warrior 2 foot. My left foot is in line with my right knee, and then I'm going to bring myself on up. Okay, and again, you want to make sure you're stacking up the joints here as best you can. Inhale to reach those arms out to the sides, and then as you exhale, just bring that left hand down the left thigh, reach that right arm towards the wall. More breaths. Relax that right shoulder. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, reach that right hand away from you. Bring your hand down. If you need to, you can always use a block to support. You can also go up onto your fist onto the floor. That can be a nice way. Just to get a little bit of height. Relax that right shoulder. Bring all your fingers and thumb together. Your choice to gaze up to the ceiling, straight forward, or down to the ground. And so something that happens here sometimes is that we bring this bottom hand really close towards the knee. You want to stay with the full length of your torso. Keep reaching. One more full deep breath. And then we'll just get a little bit of a twist here. So the next time you're ready to exhale, we're just gonna wrap the body, twist it under. Inhaling to open that up. Let's try that just one more time. Exhale to wrap it under to twist. And inhale to lift it up. Good. And then from here, we're gonna do the other side. Since it's a wall class, I have to face the other way, so here we are, again, pressing the pinky toe edge of the foot, strong into the wall. I'm stacking my left hip right over top of the left knee. Inhale to reach those arms out. Exhale to reach towards that leg. And then I'm bringing that left arm overhead towards the wall. One more full deep breath here. And we'll inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, we bring it down. Remember, you can use your block to support. So a nice way to check that out is to actually bring your hand a little further than the shoulder so that you see what is too far. And then from here, you can bring your hand right underneath your shoulders. Again, bringing all the fingers together and the thumb, spiraling those right ribs up towards the ceiling, maybe even gazing up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the pinky toe edge of your foot into the wall. And then coming into those couple of twists, the next time you're ready to exhale, we'll round through the spine as we reach that arm underneath. Inhale to open it up, spiral it open. Exhale to scoop it under. And inhale to open it back up. Good. Bring that hand back down. Nice. So we're coming into our first downward facing dog of the day and working with the theme of using our wall. Something that happens for a lot of people in down dog, myself included, is that the heels can't get quite down to the ground. So here we're going to use the wall for a little bit of lift and support. So You can walk your feet back, and I'm just resting my feet up over top of this little baseboard edge here, and I'm feeling pretty stiff today, so I'm gonna keep a nice deep bend into my knees, shifting the weight back and reaching my tailbone back. Spread the fingertips wide, press down into the first knuckle of the hands. I sway the head side to side. I feel the ears are right in between the biceps. And I'm just resting my heels up onto that little baseboard edge, just up the wall. You don't want to have your toes too close to the wall. I've got my toes further away, so it's still like the full length of my foot. I've just got the support of my heels up on that wall. Couple more breaths here. Lengthen your spine. Maybe start to lengthen your knees a little bit. And then choice one is you can take a rest. Choice number two, you can stay just here for longer. And choice number three, if you want to go even deeper, we're going to start to slide that right foot up the wall. So just gently finding the wall and reach that up to the point that it's comfortable for you. You can absolutely just stay bent. Lengthen your spine. As you exhale, float that foot back down. Take a rest if you need to. And then we'll send the other leg up if you are lifting it up. Notice how it feels on this side. Couple more full deep breaths. Good. Float that down. Rest the knees down. Sit back on the heels or any comfortable seated position for you. And just take a couple breaths. You can do child's pose if you like. Grab a sip of water if you like. And then we're going to come back to our tabletop. So getting a little bit deeper into the core activation. Now you can choose to repeat the version that we did, keeping the foot down onto the ground. Or this time we're going to lift the leg up. So again, I'm stacking up my knee right underneath my hip. And if you look back at those toes, you don't want it to be, up to one side or up too high. So if I'm looking back, I can see my toes are reaching straight down to the floor. Not sideways, straight down, so that you're level across the hips. Not arching the back, just neutral spines here. Lift the front of the throat. Walk those hands back so that they're underneath your shoulders. Firm up that right thigh. 3 more breaths. One more full deep breath. Getting warmer. Good. Now from here, we're going to come back to our gateway pose. So we're going to bring our foot down to the ground, and then I'm spiraling this foot back behind me so that I can return to this gateway pose. So I've got my left knee down on the floor, I've got my right foot to the wall. Inhale to reach those arms out to the side. This time I'm going to reach all the way and see if you can touch the wall. If you can't, go back to holding that leg. Otherwise, hand on the wall now. As best you can, spiral those ribs open. Lifting those left ribs out to the side. You can always bring your hand down to your hip. The next time you're ready to inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, reach that left arm away from you. Bring your hand down to your block or the floor. Now it's going to be a bit of a weight shift, so you're going to want to bring that hand further than your shoulder, because now we're lifting our foot up on the wall. So you might really feel that working to that outer hip. My foot's not up, it's sideways. Sideways on the wall. Spiraling those right ribs now up to the ceiling. The shoulders are down. And lift it up. Notice if you're sending the hips back. Press those hips forward. Another breath or two. Press strong to the wall. And then once more, we're going to exhale to twist it under. Inhale to open it up. Exhale, twist it under. Inhale to open it up. Good. Bring that hand down, bring your knee down, and rock your hips a little bit side to side. All right, so let's try the other side now, everybody. So we're gonna start by setting that left leg straight back. And I'm taking a moment to look back. I can see my left toes pointing straight down to the floor. The foot is flexed. I walk my right knee back so that it's right underneath my hip. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Slight puff between those shoulders. Draw the belly in. It's a little extra benefit in this room because I've got a mirror beside me here. I don't know if you guys can see my reflection in the mirror or not, but it's a useful tool because you can see if the leg is up too high or not. One more breath. Good. Then float that left foot down to the ground. Spiral that right foot behind you to come into your other gateway. So right knee's down, left foot is up against the wall and pressing pinky toe edge of the foot to the wall. Inhale to reach those arms out to the sides. Exhale, see if you can touch the wall. Relax your shoulders. You can always bring your right hand down to your right hip. The next time you're ready to inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, reach that right arm away from you. Bring the hands past your shoulder. So I've got that far angled line here, so that as I lift my left leg up, it's going to be a little bit easier to stack that. And again, left foot is flexed. I'm trying to keep my foot in line with my hip. Reach it on up. Ooh, this side's harder. Again, you can look down, forward, or up. Another breath or two. The next time you're ready to exhale, twist that under. Inhale to open. One more, exhale to twist. Inhale to open. Good. And then bring it down. Rocking the hips side to side. Let's step that right foot forward in between your hands. Prop up that left knee if you need to. Use blocks on your hands if you need a little support. If you like to go deeper, you can always bring one or both hands up to the front thigh. Maybe reaching one or both arms up to the ceiling. Exhale to bring your hands down. I'm going to use some blocks here, coming to Ardha Hanumanasana. So starting to walk those right toes forward, flexing through that right foot, lengthening the front of that right knee. Shoulders are down. We're going to step that right foot down, curling those left toes under. And if you're working with blocks, I usually like to go for tall blocks here. Stepping that back foot forward, it's on a 45-degree angle. And then we'll lengthen into that front right knee, coming into pyramid. Squaring off the hips, so we bring that right hip back, left hip forward. Lengthen up through your spine. If you don't have blocks, you can always bring your hand up to the knee or the thigh, or you can have your hands on your hips. That's great too. And then from here, we're going to step our left foot forward, but we're going to crisscross the ankles. So softening into that right knee, walk those blocks forward, and then you're going to cross your left ankle behind the right. Right? So my feet are crisscrossed. Left ankle behind the right. Another breath or two. And then we're going to uncross the legs, bring the feet nice and wide, send the hips down low from Hanumanasana. Arms can reach out, or you can bring your hands to heart center. Sending those hips down low. If this is not possible for you to sit down low like this, you could sit down onto a chair and just bring the knees wide. You could also just come into kind of like a wide knee squat here. That's great too. Okay, so we're gonna bring our legs back again. And now I'm going to step my left foot forward in between the hands, coming into Anjaneyasana. Your choice to stay right here. Maybe you start to prop yourself up. Maybe you reach one or even both arms up. And then as you exhale, slowly float your hands down. We'll inchworm those left toes forward, coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, we'll half split. Hinging forward from the hips. And then the next time you're ready to exhale, shift the weight forward, curl those back toes under. You can go for tall blocks if you're using them. We'll step that right foot forward so that the back toes are on a 45-degree angle. Lengthen your spine, we'll lengthen out that left leg. You can bring your left thumb up to the hip crease to draw that back. Right hip forward so that we're nice and level across the sacrum. Lengthen your spine. One more full breath here in pyramid. Hands are underneath the shoulders. And then softening into that left knee, we're gonna step that right foot forward, crisscrossing those ankles. So I've got my right ankle crossed behind the left. The toes may or may not be in line, the knees may or may not be bent. Just cross your legs and forward fold. Forward folds are really grounding. So if you feel like, if you're ever in a time that, you know, maybe you're overthinking a little bit and you just feel like you need to be a little bit more present or let some things go, then forward folds are a great thing to do. Another breath or two. Good. And then we're going to uncross. And just bring your feet nice and wide. And just rocking the hips side to side. Come on up to stand. So let's turn sideways on the mat. Now I'm not going to bring my foot up against the wall here. I'm just going to come into a nice wide legged stretch just in the middle of my mat. And really parallel feet or just ever so slightly pigeon toe your feet, just a smidge. Inhale to reach those arms out to the sides. Exhale to forward fold. You can bring your hands to your blocks or to the floor. Maybe the head touches down, maybe the elbows touch down. Tripod headstand is part of your practice and your body is just feeling the call to go there from here. You can take this variation to do that. Maybe reaching for the outer ankles. Bring the hands back underneath the face if they're not already. Inhale to a little halfway lift. We're going to turn those toes out. Bend your knees, walk your hands up to the thighs, roll those shoulders down and back. You can choose to stay here with the hands on the knees. Maybe you rock a little bit side to side. Maybe you roll those shoulders down and back to come up into variation of cactus arms here. Dropping the tailbone down low. We'll inhale to reach all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center, turning those feet parallel. Inhale to reach those arms out to the sides, and then exhale to step or hop back to the center. Good. All right, so we've done quite a bit for our hamstrings today. We're gonna work into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, by using the wall. So something that's hard with Warrior 3 is that you're just bouncing forward, and we're really working with that parallel sacrum, which we've done today as well. So now we'll have the benefit of the wall. If you do not have blocks, then a chair is gonna be really great. You can bring your hands to the seat of the chair or the back of the chair. Otherwise, you're gonna wanna go for tall blocks. Now, make sure you don't put a hole through your wall. So you need to figure out the right distance you need to be. So we're gonna go for 90 shoulders if you're using blocks. And then I'm pressing my left leg nice and straight, dropping the left hip down so that I'm level across the sacrum. Firm up that bottom right thigh, so active right leg. Lengthen your spine. So some elements of pyramid that we did. Now, of course, we've got a leg reaching back, and we're just holding. So classically in our Virabhadrasana 3, we don't have our hands down. We would have our arms reaching in full variation, both arms reaching forward. But here we're doing a supported version, using blocks or a chair, and using the wall. Really working 90-degree legs. Just like we did kneeling, look back at your toes. Make sure your toes are reaching straight down to the floor. One more full deep breath here, everybody. And then as you exhale, slowly float that back down. Okay, let's send that other leg back. Find the wall, look back at your toes, make sure your toes are reaching straight down to the floor, and we're not twisting our hips open. So this is a great way to move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, but we're not doing that today. Instead, we're dropping our hip point down, lengthening out the spine. And I mean, I can't see what you're doing, so if you want to take half moon afterwards, then go for it, if your body's needing that today. Firming up both thighs. 2 more breaths here. The next time you're ready to exhale, float that foot back down and walk it out. Good. We're going to move our blocks aside, and we're returning back to our downward facing dog on the wall. See how it feels this time. Is it any different? Your toes are reaching straight forward, your heels are reaching straight back to that wall. And then one more time, and maybe if you didn't do it last time, maybe try it now. Start to send that right leg up the wall. Start with a bend in your knee, and see if you can reach those toes up high and lengthen that leg. And then just 2 times, we're gonna exhale to come forward, knee towards the nose. Inhale to send it back up the wall. Exhale forward. Inhale to send it back. Good. Float that foot down. Let's try the other side. Send that leg on up. See what it's like on this side now? On your next exhale, come forward, knee to nose. Inhale back. One more, exhale forward. Inhale back. One more full deep breath here. And then exhale to float it down. Float those knees down to the mat. All right, let's start to wind it down just a touch. So I'm gonna bring my back all the way up against the wall now to come into Baddha Konasana. If you need to support your hips, please do. I'm bringing my back up against the wall. I'm reaching the back of the skull towards the wall. resting the hands on the knees, focusing on some length in the spine. Maybe close those eyes. Good. And then we're going to send those legs out in front of us, flexing through the feet, so really strong Dandasana. Now, if it's not possible for you to have the back of the hips up against the wall, if you're kind of forward and rounded and tucked, then that's your body telling you that the hamstrings are just still tight. So instead what you're going to do is you're going to grab a cushion or blocks or whatever you have to elevate your hips, and then that will make it possible, okay? Because we want to bring that sacrum all the way back to the wall. Roll those shoulders down and back, flex your feet, open up the pinky toe edges of your feet, draw the belly in. Reach the back of the skull towards the wall. Bring your hands down towards the ground, and then inhale to reach those arms up towards the ceiling. Reach your thumbs towards the wall. Palm facing palm. Really active here. And then from here, we're going to separate our feet just a touch so that our feet are just sitting bone distance. And then from here, I'm flexing through my wrists. So now my fingertips are reaching towards the wall and my palms are reaching towards the ceiling. Draw the belly in tight. So if you could imagine, if you flipped this pose around, if you were on your hands and your feet, what pose would you be in? Right, we're in our downward facing dog shape. We're just seated, we're flipped around. And then as you exhale, float those hands down. Let the feet go, shake it out. Good. We're gonna bring it down to our backs, and we're going to turn with the feet up against the wall again. If you've got a hair tie on or something at the back of your head, you might want to remove that now. So I'm going to scoop myself in so that I can get my legs about right angled on the wall. My feet are planted to the wall, nice and strong. So this might be as far as you go. This is great. Right, we're going to take some different options of inversions. If you feel like you need a little more release into the hips, then whether the leg is, you might start with a straight leg and cross over to a figure four, and then maybe see if you can bend into that knee again. Couple more breaths here. Remember, you're welcome to stay for longer if you need to. Trust your body. Otherwise, try the other side. Again, it might be nice to go into it with a straight leg. And then bending the knee. We want to make sure as we bend the knee that we don't lift peel the hips up at all. Again, that's just a sign of tightness, so you go for a straighter leg. Stay nice and flexed in this foot as I reach my knee gently towards the wall. And then you're welcome to stay here in just this right angle. If you want to go deeper now into candlestick or legs up the wall, you're going to bring your hips all the way to the wall, so that now when you lie down, you're bringing your hips all the way, and you can kind of use the backs of the arms to sort of scoop yourself in, sending those legs on up. And then your choice to stay here, this is great. If you want to go into, again, another hip opener, if you've got the space for it, you can bring the legs out to the side, just letting gravity drop those knees open. You can also go for Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. So many choices again. So these are all great levels of inversions. If none of these feel suitable for you, just lying down on your back and hugging your knees into your chest is great. Happy baby is great. All right, so you can stay in any version that feels right for you. If shoulder stand is already part of your practice and you want to go there now, You want to make sure that you're not looking to the side. So you can watch me first if you don't know where you're going. Otherwise, if it's part of your practice, go there now. Nose always points up to the ceiling. I'm going to start with my knees bent again. And then I'm pressing my feet into the wall to lift up the hips. I'm going to support my back as I walk my shoulders together. Elbows closer together underneath the back. The back of the neck is long. And then you can choose to stay here. Maybe you send one leg up to the ceiling for a couple breaths and then change. And then only if you've done this before, full shoulder stand, then option to lift both legs up. Otherwise, just stay here using the wall for support today. Listening to yourself for how long you want to stay into that. And then whenever you're ready, bring yourself down. And this might be your resting pose for today. This might be your Shavasana. If not, then listen to yourself. If you want to roll over to one side, you might choose to come back into bringing the back up against the wall. This is a wonderful way to meditate. Or you might choose to come into another variation of Shavasana. So taking this opportunity to settle in to that now. Take a couple deep breaths wherever you are, whether you are in your inversion. If you're still up in shoulder stand, you might choose to come down now. Resting one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And taking some time to check in with how you're doing right now.